For the fact that these Epstein files still, there are millions of more documents that they're still reviewing at this point.
You know, if this were a private law firm with 5% of the resources of the DOJ, this would have been done by the deadline. And they just missed another deadline, which is the report to Congress, which is supposed to list all of the politicians that are in their files. And also, they're supposed to justify all the redactions 15 days after the first 30-day window. But the biggest problem isn't that they're missing the deadlines, it's what they're redacting. So they're citing the Privacy Act, and they're trying to pretend like that overrides a law that we just passed that says you can't withhold records to prevent embarrassment. They're also citing FOIA standards, which don't apply to our law when they're trying to say that they don't have to release internal decisions. But our bill specifically says release internal decisions.
So what are you going to do about it?
We're looking at that.
To follow up, because you say that there's military action is not going to happen. So then, is it responsible for the White House to continue to raise the specter of military action? They said very explicitly.
I've spoken to the question. I'm not going to take 1,000 gotcha questions this morning trying to pit me against the White House.
Does the president have the authority to unilaterally seize oil from Venezuela and then use the money from the sale of that oil as he sees fit, as he said he's going to do?
I hear Congressman Jimenez over my shoulder, who's the world's expert on all this, saying that is sanctioned oil, okay? And I'm not going to get up here and tell you the details of all these developments, because it's still being developed. There are a lot of ideas. There's some brainstorming being done out loud by all sorts of people, many of whom are not even authorized to have these conversations. I would not run with too many of these headlines.
They have censured me, and at the end of the letter, they threaten criminal prosecution if they don't like what I say going forward. Let me make it perfectly clear. This letter, or anything that Pete Hegseth says or does to me, is in no way going to affect the way I do my job and represent my constituents in the United States Senate. Ain't happening. So, his option, right now is he can continue with this kind of bullshit, or he can go take a hike.
This week marks 5 years since January 6th. 5 years since I was beaten and tased by a Trump-incited mob while defending the United States Capitol. 5 years later, we're watching history get rewritten in real time. After the 2024 election, I felt something I never expected to feel again after that day: betrayal. After all the footage, the testimony, the investigations, Donald Trump was voted back into office by the American people. The very people I served every time I put on my uniform and risked my life. And in his first week, Trump did exactly what he promised. He pardoned the people who attacked me and my fellow officers. I gotta be honest with you, that broke me more than any injury I took that day. I asked myself, what was the fucking point? The hopelessness turned to anger, the anger into rage, and the rage into resolve. Because I refuse to be a victim. I refuse to stay silent while lies are called alternative interpretations. Silence isn't neutral. Silence is a choice. And I didn't choose this fight. But walking away was never an option.
We're in a hell of a lot of trouble. Us, America, but the world is in a hell of a lot of trouble, because the most powerful man in the world is both evil and demented. He has the most severe personality disorder, actually, that a human being can have. It's called malignant narcissism. It was originally introduced by Erich Fromm, who escaped the Nazis, to explain the psychology of Hitler and other murderous dictators like him. It's actually not in the DSM. It's kind of a historically obscure diagnosis, but I happen to have studied with the person who was the world expert on malignant narcissism. And so early on, when Trump was running for president in 2015, I recognized that this was essentially a meteor heading towards Earth. Because I knew just how destructive a malignant narcissistic leader can be to a country. And I saw it as potentially fatal to our country. And unfortunately, that seems to be potentially coming true. It has four components: narcissism, of course, but also psychopathy, or what we call antisocial personality disorder. So lying, breaking laws and norms, having no remorse for violating the rights of others. Also paranoia, and finally sadism. A lot of what he does is gleefully destructive and harmful, and it actually gives him enormous pleasure to hurt people and to destroy things.
First and foremost, like we think Stephen Miller gives a fuck about Venezuela and its safety.
100%.
This is the asshole that sent Venezuelans that were refugees in the United States of America, that sent them to CCOT. And then he probably sat around with all of these videos in his spank bank while these people were chained, tortured, sexually abused, the majority of them not even criminals. And then you have these horrible, diabolical, evil people at CBS News that spike the story that we're going to shine light onto that little pipsqueak's depravity and just complete psychopathy. It's unbelievable. But at the end of that video, he talks about rapists in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, are you aware of all of the rape that took place at Jeffrey Epstein's house to children that your boss, Stephen Miller, was in the epicenter of? Were you aware of any of that? Of course you're aware of it, because this isn't about Venezuela. This is about you trying to solve your problem.
This is a huge crisis for the United States of America, not just for Venezuela. And it is a huge crisis for the world, because of the breakdown of that rules-based international order that has kept us from a war since World War II. Not, we've had local wars, but we've not had a world war, a war in Europe, for example. And it is a direct attack on the U.S., another direct attack on the U.S. Constitution. So don't be fuzzy about what happened here. And this would be a great moment to speak up to your Congress people, especially your Republican Congress people. The Democrats have already come out and said, excuse me, what are you doing here? But they are not in the majority. And a lot of the Republicans started out, even the far right ones started out by saying, hey, wait a second here, this doesn't look legal. And they're already starting to come around, because generally wars make a president more popular, and they don't want to buck Trump and say, we're going to back Maduro on this. Because again, Maduro's a bad guy. Light up these freaking phones, because I think if you've listened to me before, you've heard me say that we're facing a crisis, because Trump has gotten more and more and more and more cornered. And as I've been saying and wincing, the next 3 months, which I said 3 days ago, are going to be hideous as he and his people try to maintain control. Because it's coming down to the line here. Either they are going to grab control and turn the United States into a dictatorship, or the American people are going to take our system back, and we're going to make it based in the law again and not in personalities. And we're going to start to enforce the laws against corruption, and we're going to enforce the Constitution. And with luck, we're going to make this country and its rules and laws more responsive to everyday people.
A corrupt group of people. Never, ever underestimate what Trump will do to try to survive and draw attention away from Jeffrey Epstein, and the fact that we're getting ready to be, average people are plunged into health insurance that they can't pay, while we've run up $3 trillion in debt, giving people make over $500,000 a year massive tax cuts. That's what's really going on in this country. You need to know it. And you need to change it come November of this year.
The reason he's flirting with Greenland and disrupting NATO is to do a favor for his friend Putin. Let's talk about winning the House and shining a bright light on what he is doing, and instead of spending the public dollar on meeting people's needs, instead spending to go into Venezuela. Now he's talking about Cuba and Colombia and Mexico and Greenland. What is this? It's insanity. It really is. I think the reason he's flirting with Greenland and disrupting NATO is to do a favor for his friend Putin.
It is confusion that we are now seeing on Fox News. And this is a form of confusion that I believe is dangerous for the administration. Kat Timpf, who is a political commentator, and Greg Gutfeld, who I guess is a comedian, but sometimes he's a political commentator. I don't know. They are, normally when you turn on this show, they are rationalizing and justifying anything that Republicans are doing and anything that Donald Trump is doing. You can see them visibly struggling to make sense of the logic of Donald Trump's kidnap of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. And it is fascinating to see that the people that normally have no issue figuring out how to justify what Donald Trump is doing are struggling to justify what Donald Trump has done.
You have to see how some people might be feeling a little bit of whiplash here, given that Trump spent 10 years railing against U.S.-led regime change war. His own director of intelligence, as recently as 2 months ago, was railing against regime change war, and then he does one. So
is this a regime change? The regime is still there, as far as I know. Vice President.
All right, let's already pause. Okay, there's two great things here. Kat Timpf correctly points out we were sold this is the guy against regime change wars, and he's trying to do regime change. That's true. Gutfeld is also right, which is this even regime change? Because they've taken Maduro, but left the regime completely in charge, including the acting president being the former vice president. So they're both right about the absurdity. Trump went back on his promise of not doing this type of thing. And also, as a regime change operation, it seems to be failing because they're not changing the regime.
let me get this straight. We go to a country, we capture their leader, we bomb it, and then we say, we run this country now. And that's not war. But when they say send cocaine over here that people are willingly snorting, that is war.
At least Kat Timpf is pointing out that the people snorting the cocaine, they like the cocaine. They want the cocaine. And that is a war. But what Donald Trump just did to Venezuela is not an act of war?
That doesn't make any sense.
It does to me, in the sense that if this guy is committing crimes against the United States, you lawfully go and get him. He gets his due process here. The regime is still the same. The VP's there. Who knows?
We went in, took him, bombed the country, and said we're in control of it. That's regime change war.
So this is very interesting. This is not generic anti-war activism from Kat Timpf. This is not a left-wing critique from Kat Timpf. This is just the inability to justify what is going on in Venezuela, even when looked at through a Fox News lens.
As Nicolas Maduro, who was wearing an orange sort of mid-sleeve t-shirt underneath a navy V-neck shirt, you could see the hems of his prison garb orange t-shirt coming out his sleeves and out his hem. As he stood up wearing translation headphones in order to make his exit from the courtroom, a gentleman sitting in about the third or fourth row to my left suddenly stood up and jabbed a finger at him and said what our producer Que Guerrero says in Spanish was, "You will pay," at which point Maduro calmly looked at him and said, "Soy hombre de Dios," meaning I am a man of God, and then said, "Soy prisionera de la guerra," I am a prisoner of war. And the exchange between them started to continue until a court officer who had already warned everyone before the proceedings started that if you were to make a statement, you would be immediately ejected, looked at the guy who was wearing a suit, seemed like any other employee of the government who might have come to watch. And indeed, there were scores of people from the DEA, from the Department of Homeland Security. At that point, the court security officer jabbed his finger at the guy and said, "You out." And that all happened as Judge Hellerstein stood up from the bench, which means everybody in the courtroom was standing at the same time as law enforcement officers were trying to get this gentleman who was trying to force a confrontation with Nicolas Maduro out of the courtroom, as Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores de Maduro, were trying to get back into U.S. custody. Let me tell you some other things that happened that I think are interesting. Cilia Flores' lawyer said that during the kidnapping, what they called the kidnapping, Cilia Flores sustained serious injuries, and you could see some bruising to her forehead. They said she also sustained what they believe might be some fracturing of her ribs. They asked that she get immediate medical attention, and of course Judge Hellerstein said that that could be worked out with the government. But then let's go back to the beginning, Allie. This was unlike anything I have ever seen. I've never seen a head of state in a U.S. courtroom before as a defendant. And Nicolas Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores had to have been humbled by this. They walked in, again, wearing standard issue prison garb. Nicolas Maduro wearing khakis on the bottom, but that standard issue orange prison t-shirt on the top. When he was asked to enter his plea, he tried to give a pretty long recitation. First, the judge asked him, "Are you in fact Nicolas Maduro de Moros?" And he said, I am Nicolas Maduro de Moros. I am the president of Venezuela. I am here because I have been kidnapped since Saturday, January 3rd. They captured me at my home in Caracas, at which point Judge Alvin Hellerstein, who is presiding over this case, cut him off and said, Mr. Maduro, there will be time to address all of this, including through motion practice that your lawyers will bring. I just want you to confirm that you are Nicolas Maduro de Moros.
Important news right now, a joint statement on Greenland supporting Denmark and Greenland has been issued by European leaders, including President Macron from France, Chancellor Merz from Germany, Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, Prime Minister Tusk of Poland, Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain, Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom, and Prime Minister Frederiksen of Denmark on Greenland. I'll read you the statement right now. It just came into my inbox from the German government. Arctic security remains a key priority for Europe, and it is critical for international and transatlantic security. NATO has made clear that the Arctic region is a priority, and European allies are stepping up. We and many other allies have increased our presence, activities, and investments to keep the Arctic safe and to deter adversaries. The Kingdom of Denmark, including Greenland, is a part of NATO. Security in the Arctic must therefore be applied collectively in conjunction with NATO allies, including the United States, by upholding the principles of the UN Charter, including sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the inviolability and inviolability of borders. These are universal principles, and we will not stop defending them. The United States is an essential part in this endeavor as a NATO ally and through the defense agreement between the Kingdom of Denmark and the United States of 1951. Greenland belongs to its people. It is for Denmark and Greenland, and them only, to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland.
President Trump has behaved like a member of a criminal gang, bombing Venezuela, a sovereign country, kidnapping its head of state and his family, and killing many in the process. Where next? Colombia, Cuba, Mexico, Panama, Greenland? Here? Does my right honourable friend agree that if we do not stand up to deviants and bullies like Trump, they will only be emboldened to repeat their illegal acts elsewhere?
In a stunning late-night operation, I had some friends of mine execute a raid on my neighbor Tom's house. He put up quite a fight, but we got through, and he's in custody. I haven't liked what he's been doing over there for a while now, so I've decided to run his house myself. He leaves his Christmas lights up too long. He never trims his avocado tree that hangs over my fence, and I believe he's running fentanyl out of there. I can't prove the last one, but it makes sense. I've seen him speak Spanish. I got rid of the wife as well. I didn't really have a problem with her, but we did do a 4th of July block party, and she brought empanadas, so better safe than sorry. I've got them at a Residence Inn a couple towns over. I've been using his home as my own little man cave. Pretty great. It turns out he has a fantastic wine cellar that I have tapped into extensively. Anyway, I'll be running his home until a time when I can have a safe, proper, and judicious turnover to some other guy, which probably won't be happening soon. And just a heads up, I plan to take over some other neighbors' homes as well. Phil, across the street, has a pretty cool car I'd like to be in charge of. And Alex, who lives catty corner from me, has a wife who's a yoga instructor. Be taking that one soon. Again, doing it for the good of the neighborhood, so stay tuned.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time, oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I think this thing's working. Hello, it's 11:26 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. Adjust accordingly to whatever time zone you're in. We're sitting at 56 degrees, 61 for our daytime high, 43 our overnight low. I don't believe we have any precipitation in the forecast. So we are dry. And we are high. High and dry here in Nevada. Here in Las Vegas. Probably about 10 degrees above normal for our daily high for this time of year. Global warming is real. Seems like global warming, it probably isn't, but it seems like global warming is the least of our problems in these interesting times that we live in. We've been cursed to live in interesting times. With this whole Trump thing, as America is in its 250th year, we'll be celebrating the 250 this July, right? 4th of July, 250 years ago since we declared our independence from England. Right now, maybe Nola Carnes could let us know what are the odds that we will even make it to July 4th as a country or as a republic, as a democratic republic. Will we make it to July 4th with our Constitution intact? That's the question. That's the question, my friends. Will we make it to July 4th? I'm hoping. I got my fingers crossed. I got my fingers crossed that we will make it to July 4th. I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of, what is it? 6-7? Okay, back in my day, we used to just go like this. So we go, so 50-50. Anyhow, I see Fancy is first in the chat. Thanks for being here, Fancy. Appreciate you. There's Nola Carnes right there in second. Wow. Nola Carnes, yeah. Then we got Aaron West coming on in. Thank you, Aaron, for being here, being the moderator extraordinaire. Bonnie Balcom's here. Hey, Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie. Good to see you. Danny Pomeroy is in the driver's lounge. Good to see Danny. Good old Danny. Josh Sees is here. Good. Always. How do I always say it? Always nice to see Josh Sees. Always good to see Josh Sees in the driver's lounge. Bonnie Balcom, President Mark Kelly. I don't know. But maybe. I think Mark Kelly's going to run. We're still a couple of years away from worrying about that. Well, so right now we're just laser focused on these November. Speaking of the weather, my radar notification just popped up on the phone, but I can't go to it because it would cause havoc for the show. So the last forecast I saw that we weren't expecting any rain. I don't know why my radar thing would pop up. I don't know. I just didn't know. Anyhow, we do have a big blank spot over here. I guess it's right over here. There we go. And I did not upload, download, save, whatever, any new memes. I didn't come across anything that struck my fancy. fancy. So I might just have to go and dig something out. Sort of a blast from the past there, maybe. Because you know me, I like to have that little area have something in there. I guess since we are the day after, I think I did post this before though, but since we are the day after the January 6th insurrection, the anniversary of that, the 5-year anniversary, I guess I could put that there. January 6th, never forget it was treason. That was treason. They tried to stop the results of the election going through. So I guess we'll put that there for now. Who else is here? Oh, always glad to see John Glad. It's always good to see Josh Sees, and always glad to see John Glad in the driver's lounge. Good to see both of you, and glad to see both of you. DPD, there's DPD 5844. Hello, happy Hump Day, and a happy Hump Day to you as well. Absolutely. Danny Pomeroy says that's what this is all about, with Trump going into a country, putting soldiers' lives in danger for a con job on Americans around the 2020 stolen election. Watch how this plays out. It's all political. Yeah, and I still contend that the number one reason is to distract from the Epstein files. But there are, like I've said before, we've talked about this. It's multiple reasons for why he's done this, but I think number one, first and foremost, is distract from Epstein files. Anna Moore's here. Hey, Anna, good to see you. Anna says, hello, TJ and fellow loungers. Helping you enjoy the rest of this day while we still can. Well, okay, me too. Belfast Bob is here all the way from Ireland. He's from Ireland, Belfast Bob's from Ireland. Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Let's see, who else we got in the old driver's lounge? William's here. Hello, William, from Philly. Checking in from Philly. Are you an Eagles fan? We got the playoffs coming up. Who knows if things work their way through. I'm seeing a little weird reflection, but anyhow. Who knows? If the Rams win this week and the Eagles. Did I say Phillies? Or did I say Eagles before? I meant Eagles. If the Eagles win, the Rams and Eagles might end up meeting up in playoffs again. So that should be a good one. But let's not look ahead. We got to look ahead. We got to just look at this first game here against Carolina, because you can't take anyone for granted, or you can't overlook anyone. No, look hard and say no to drugs. Just say no to drugs. That's true. We kind of do create this demand with our drug usage. We create the demand for these countries to, smuggle in drugs to us. It's kind of our own fault in a way, kind of, sort of, right? I think it's a little more, complicated than that, but there's a lot of truth to that. Belfast Bob says, yep, America can wait. We're Venezuela first. We're Venezuela first. We're Argentina first. We're Donald Trump first. Anna Moore says, I am amazed at how this raving lunatic is still not locked up. His big effing mouth is going to get us all killed. Just think if Biden had even tried to pull one of these stunts. If Biden, how's that liberal Dan? Like, if Biden had done it, do. Danny Pomeroy says that leader has faulty evidence in his stolen election. In Trump's stolen election, he's going to bend over for Trump's 2020 stolen election watch. I guess they must be doing some work upstairs or something. I'm hearing a lot of noise. Maybe they're cleaning out a unit. And it's annoying. Very annoying. DPD says he will go after Greenland just to satisfy Putin. I will never understand why people are not connecting the dots. All roads and the foundation lead to Russia. Well, if you watched my intro, you saw that Nancy Pelosi is in that, of all people. The one that a lot of people probably in this chat seem to really dislike a lot. And there's Nancy Pelosi saying, well, she was talking about Venezuela, but I think in a general sense, that he's doing these things for his buddy Putin, which I've been saying that all along too. Hey, there's 007 Kevin, Troll Slayers here. Nola Connors just says, oh my God, Trump has made it a new food pyramid that includes alcohol. Hey, if you get drunk, whatever, it's a lubricant, laughing out loud. Is that true? Is that really true? Is that a joke? Because this is the first time hearing of it. Must be a joke, right? William says Maduro has a chance of beating the case. The Trump DOJ is a joke. Yeah, who was that was saying that, William? I heard that. I don't know. I listened to so much stuff on YouTube. I forget what shows I saw it on, but they were bringing up the fact that they've kind of already bungled the case, and there's a good chance he could walk, or at least have the case thrown out. Whether they ever return him to Venezuela, I don't know. They might just make him stay here, which is weird to me because they kidnapped him. If his case gets thrown out, or if he wins his trial, they should at least fly him back home. I guess, right? I don't know. Anna Moore says, nothing matters but how this narcissist appears to the world. We need to vote the entire administration out. Where is the GOP? Well, the GOP, they're either hiding because they're trying to separate themselves from Trump, or they're just out and out retiring and leaving and resigning. The GOP is in tatters right now. They don't know what to do. They are in tatters, which is good for us, I think. Chris Doug's here. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Oh, Sandy Foltz is here. Hello, Sandy. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Now, I think way earlier I did see that, yeah, it didn't show up when I came on now, but I remember, yeah, I saw that you already did a dollar super sticker. So thank you so much. Yippee to Sandy Foltz. There's your yippee and your thumbs up and a heart. So Sandy got his stuff started even before I put the goal up of doing a little fan funding there. So thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. Robert Perez. Hey, Robert. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in from down San Diego way. Luck Dragon. Hey, Luck Dragon's here. Says, "Oh yeah, it's the Eagles, not Chicago. My bad. I don't care about the Niners." Well, they're both in. I skipped down when I went to check the fan funding. It skipped me way down in the chat, and I can't go back to where I left off. So I just skipped a bunch of the chat. In case you guys noticed, I just where I was at was when Sandy Foltz came in into the chat, and now I'm way down where Robert Perez is saying says, "Hey Nolan, how are you?" Just in case anyone's keeping track, keeping score at home. There's a big chunk of the chat that I just it skipped. I didn't skip it; it skipped it for me. Because Luck Dragon says, "Oh yeah, it's the Eagles, not Chicago. My bad. Don't care about the Niners." So that's obviously maybe some mid-thread thing. I know I was talking about the playoffs earlier, but I think this is a reference to something somebody else said. Robert Perez says, "I want San Diego to win also." San Diego's in the playoffs, absolutely. And wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it be something if it was like Rams, Chargers? I think that'd be awesome. Of course, I would root for the Rams, but it'd be cool. I think if the Chargers made it to the Super Bowl. We'll see how it plays out, though. Anamore says, in the spirit of the last meme in the intro, I have my eye on my neighbor's car. I think I shall take it, and if I live to take it, I will let you know. Laughing out loud. Yeah, that's kind of funny. But hey, that's just shows how influential our president is. Barbara Nicholas is here. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Thanks for popping on in. Log Dragon says, I have not been satisfied with the NFL for a few years now, so I'm hoping for an LA Super Bowl with the Chargers and Rams. Hey, I was just saying that. So they don't get the ratings. Oh, I don't care. No, see, that's the thing. I don't give a fuck about ratings. I never care about ratings. I watch it because I like it. I watch football because I like football. And I don't care about ratings. I never put ratings into my thinking or whatever. Robert Press says, I think your neighbors are fighting really hard next door. No, it's not that. There was definitely some kind of work or something going on. Troll Slayer, no joke, true. The thing about putting alcohol on the food pyramid? Oh my God. I mean, come on. Even I know that's not right. That's worse than, was it W that said that ketchup is a food group or something, or whatever the fuck? Luck Dragon says NOLA is about all we have left when it comes to American culture. See, I'm mid-thread. Totally mid-thread. Hey there, Sandy Foltz. Says TJ, you should check it out. Maybe you will find. See, now I'm mid-thread because I missed a big chunk of the chat, so I don't know what Sandy's talking about. But says you should check it out. Maybe you will find something good. You can use it from the. Oh, go check out the apartment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anyone left. Yeah, I'm not going up there. But, I don't even know if anyone was moving. At least if even lived up there since I've been here. It's been pretty quiet. I just think that was maintenance or something up there doing something. Danny Pomeroy, Russia is going bankrupt and Trump stealing oil will just make Russia, Putin filling the crude oil void. Yeah, there because that's his buddy. He's trying to help him out, I guess. So what if there's almost 100 people killed during this little kidnapping? As long as none of ours died, right? Hey, Mad Max here. Good to see you, Mad Max. As I just read that, I just read something is deeply offensive to many. Please forgive my naivete, if so, mate. See, I meant thread. See, when I went to check on the fan funding thing, and it took a big chunk of the chat out. So I don't know. I missed a bunch of stuff that you guys are talking about. Blood Dragon. Greenland is Lindsey Graham's safe word on Grindr. Troll Slayer says Trucker John, no joke, truth. Ben Mycelis was on an MTN hot take today, and he said Trump made a new food pyramid and added alcohol because it's a lubricant. And why would that put it on the food pyramid? There's no sense in trying to make sense of something from a madman. DPD 54 says the real question should be, why do I give a fuck about drugs coming in when they refuse to prosecute the Sackler family who started the opioid crisis knowing that they were addictive? Interesting. See, I kind of put my own commas in there. Yeah, we know there's always this double standards and hypocrisy, especially with the Republican Party. They are just rife with hypocrisy and double standard, and then also, why should we believe that Trump and his administration are serious about prosecuting drug traffickers when they just pardoned the guy from the Honduras who just got sentenced to 45 years for trafficking drugs, I think it was 600 tons of cocaine into the United States, and he got 45 years. Got sentenced to 45 years, and Trump pardoned him. Help that make sense. He pardoned that guy, and then he went in and grabbed Maduro under the pretext of charging Maduro with being a narco trafficker. I think, is that what it was? That's why the other day I was saying, maybe maybe they're gonna convict him, and then Trump will pardon him. He seems to be that seems to be his MO. Pardoning convicted drug traffickers. James Hadamio is here. Hey, James, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Says, damn, I'm way late. That's all right. We haven't done much. Just been, chatting. Just chatting up the chat. Hey, Nola Carnes with a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Yeah, yippee to Nola Carnes. There's a yippee for you and a thumbs up and the heart there. And Nola Carnes says, for you, TJ. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for helping to help the show out. Get the show going. I appreciate you. Robert Perez, either team that wins would be okay with me. Laughing out loud. Petrazi, 1920 is here. Hey, Petrazi, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Well, thanks for coming on in. I do appreciate ya. Look, Dragon says it's going to be the Rams and the Chargers. played in San Francisco in the Super Bowl, and it will be the least watched Super Bowl in history because the halftime show is from Puerto Rico. I hate NFL. Well, okay, then don't watch. Then don't watch it if you hate it, and don't talk about it. Luck Dragon, the NFL, but yet you hate it, but you can't stop talking about it. Luck Dragon goes on to say the NFL has not been good since Bo Jackson Raiders. Okay, then fine, don't watch it. Go watch soccer. No, Carnes says Luck Dragon, the NFL is strange, and that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, we know what you think about. We know your thing, Noah. It's all fixed. It's all rigged. Luck Dragon says, I don't understand why the NBA is shutting Steph Curry out just because he's old when they did nothing but pay attention to Michael Jordan in his late 30s, Warriors. I'm not keeping up with that. I have no idea what that's about. About NBA shutting out Steph Curry. I have no idea what that's about. DPD 5844 says, how many people lost their lives from Oxy, and yet the Sackler family were able to keep the majority of their fortune despite being sued, and Purdue Pharma filed for bankruptcy, but no criminal charges. It's almost like we have two justice systems. Two justice systems. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Wayne Guon's here. Hey, Wayne, good to see you. Says, hi, ICE shot. Oh, I just saw that. Shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis this morning, a white woman. Shot her in the face. She was just, I think they described her as an advocate, or, she was just watching the proceedings and what was going on. I didn't read the whole thing, but it just popped up just before I was ready to come on the air here. And what is going on? I mean, yesterday we saw, was it Michigan or something, where they, a young lady who I think was just doing a TV interview, but was there. They were there, they were marching against Trump's invasion of Venezuela. The cops come and grab her while she's doing the interview and handcuff her and throw her in the back of a squad car. Today in Minneapolis, ICE. Now this is ICE. It's not police. ICE shoots and kills a woman who was just there. Now I haven't seen any details. I just kind of read the headline and a few sentences of the first paragraph. So I don't know a whole lot about it, but let's see. I wonder if there's anything on here that pops up. Let's see if I have my news feed or something. 4 eggs a day. What? But here's top news. Levitt on U.S. capturing of Russian oil tanker in bold operation. Levitt, Trump actively discussing Greenland purchase. Levitt says, here's RFK Jr. rolls out new dietary guidelines. Because so here's the food pyramid by RFK Jr. Is he the one that put the alcohol in it? I'm just trying to see if there's any news about this thing. The ICE, this woman, that ICE shot, killed. Supposedly, this says top news on YouTube. This should be fucking top news as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not seeing it. Here's more news. Let's go to more news. So here we got local news, live news now. Here it is. ICE shooting in Minneapolis, live updates. 2,400 watching. This is from the local Fox affiliate in Minneapolis, apparently. Apparently no volume, though, because I've got it cranked up and I'm not hearing anything. I don't know why there's no volume. So they've just got the camera there showing cops on the scene. Let's see if we can get something with some freaking volume. Anyhow, it's really horrible. ICE, the current form of ICE, that we have now.
Screen, and there's a law enforcement truck that comes up. There are 3 law enforcement officers. You're going to see one is going to walk up to the vehicle, and then there is another to the side, but there is another, a third, and this is the person who fired the shots. And it's hard to see that person. The video goes really, really quickly, and it's from a distance, but there is another agent. The one who fired the shots is sort of on the would be the left front driver's side of this vehicle.
And you don't really see that officer until the vehicle drives away. So just make sure you pay. We just wanted to reiterate that part, because if you're joining us for the first time and it's your first time looking at this video, you might be wondering, what am I looking at? Where should I be focusing on? So again, focus on that maroon colored vehicle, the Honda Pilot, and those 3 officers out there as well. Let's play that again. No! No! Shit!
So she was in a car.
And so you can kind of see right there, and then there's another one running up on the right-hand side. But we're really talking about the officers on the ICE agents on the left-hand side of the vehicle as we're looking at the screen right there. So again, not going to show this a lot today, but really just want to. The best way I think we can do this is to just show you the video, and then people can come to their own conclusions. This is a live picture now of that same scene, just a short distance away, where you can see there are still quite a few people still gathered. Crowds were much larger earlier this morning, but now still hard to say based on that aerial look. Maybe 100 people or so still in that area. And we know that there's some local law enforcement, also state patrol there to help out with crowd control. But things have really been very calm since probably around noon or so, after things had escalated quite a bit.
Yeah, if you had been joining us maybe just a few hours ago, you would have definitely seen some very tense moments taking place there at 34th in Portland. We saw several people in the community picking up snowballs to throw at some of those ICE agents. Those agents also deploying pepper spray and things like that to kind of disperse the crowd there, asking them to leave. So yeah, this is
So that's Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay, so I don't know. I guess she was in a car. Maybe they were trying to stop her or detain her, and I guess she pulled away, and then they started shooting. So fuck ICE. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. We don't need ICE in our goddamn streets in fucking Minnesota, for God's sakes. Get out of our fucking cities. Now they're killing our citizens. And this is not the first time. I mean, there was another lady that lived. Remember the one that they shot her like 6 or 7 times? Fortunately, she was able to survive that. This lady, not so lucky. I guess that's the car right there. What kind of fucking training do these motherfuckers have? They don't have nothing. These are just fucking MIL Team 6 that have joined ICE. This is disgusting. This is fucking totally disgusting.
On the ground there at the scene, like just before you joined us, we were looking at an aerial view there, and from that perspective, things look to be pretty calm. But of course, you're on the ground; you can hear everything. How is it playing out right now at this point here at 2 o'clock?
Well, within the last 10 or 15 minutes, they towed all of the vehicles. It looked like 3 of them involved in that deadly shooting this morning, including that maroon SUV that the person who was shot was driving. They towed those away just a few minutes ago. Several law enforcement officers seemed to leave, especially FBI agents, around that time. We're still seeing a BCA police out here as well as a state patrol. Those are the gentlemen behind me in the neon jackets, just kind of watching the crowd. It's a relatively tense atmosphere. A lot of the demonstrators, protesters, whatever you want to call them.
They need to arrest the ICE prick. They need to arrest him, cuff him, take him to jail, take him to prison. They need to charge him with fucking first-degree murder, as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Comedy Mothership's here. Hey, Comedy Mothership, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Into the driver's lounge here. We got, who else we got? Little Cars again, TJ. I joined. Thank you so much. Your $1.99 monthly payment. Thank you for being a member, Nolo Cards. I appreciate you. Bob LeBlanc, Soccer Rules, 45 minutes nonstop. Go watch it. Watch soccer then. I don't give a fuck. Free country. Do what you want. Look, Dragon, the Dodgers winning the World Series after 20 innings. Come on, funny. Okay, that was no, whatever. I don't even know why we're arguing about fucking Dodgers and shit, you know. We got ICE shooting women in the face and killing them, so Look, Dragon, people laugh at my jokes online, but Truck doesn't. I love it. Is this thing on? It's because you suck. You're not funny. Oop, I did that. I make myself laugh. I make myself laugh. Barbara Nicholas, Governor Walz having a presser at 3. Balthanos, American woman shot in Minneapolis. Got shot in Minneapolis. Yep, that's what this is here. I got that playing in the background. I should probably shut my little blinds there, maybe so have the glare. Maybe I'll do that. Cut down some of that glare, I guess. Put this plate away. I was eating breakfast during the intro. Let's see. I don't know if that's any better or not. But we can keep an eye on what's going on in Minneapolis. People are gathering. People are not happy, and I'm not happy. Well, Thanos Truckers are on there saying she was driving over ice, but video shows otherwise. Of course, they're going to say all kinds of shit. Just like the woman they shot, I think it was in Chicago, 7 times. Lo and behold, they were lying about that. What they said happened there too. They're total fucking liars. Wayne Golan says the victim was a white woman. So here's the press conference, I guess. Let's see what they have to say. Let's see what kind of bullshit, what kind of spin they get.
In line with that, or do you just have a generic response to the fact that something's happening?
The question is that I had previously made
several statements about being concerned about the tactics being employed. I am obviously very concerned that I have been told that a woman who was sitting in her car blocking the street and not the target of any enforcement activity is now deceased. However, I do not know, to be clear, I do not know the exact circumstances of the shooting, but I would tell you in any professional law enforcement agency in the country, I think they would tell you it's obviously very concerning whenever there's a shooting into a vehicle of someone who's not armed. But it also is something that is possible. At times, it is justified. But it is very concerning, and it's something that most law enforcement agencies in the country train very intensely to try and minimize the risk that law enforcement officers get placed into a situation that the need for deadly force would be necessary. I didn't hear the question, I'm sorry. The question was any indication about the need. I guess getting back to the justification of this, I have not seen.
Do you guys remember a few years ago in Minneapolis? I believe it was Minneapolis. I forget the victim's name, but he got pulled over by a cop, and I think it was somewhere in St. Paul or Minneapolis. Traffic stop. He was in the car with his girlfriend. In the back seat was her 4-year-old daughter. The cop was a fucking chicken shit piece of shit. Because with the driver told the cop, he goes, "Yeah, I have a concealed carry permit, and I am carrying right now." He was just letting the cop know, because that's what you're supposed to do when you have a CCP. You're supposed to tell the cop, "Yeah, I got a CCP and I'm carrying," and then the fucking piece of shit idiot cop just whips his gun out and just starts blasting away into the car. He kills the driver. Fortunately, the little girl and the girlfriend were not hit miraculously. But the driver was shot multiple times and died on the scene, I believe. I forget his name, but that's Minnesota for you. So
the community who have a constitutional right to observe, record, and object to the conduct of law enforcement, that you do so peacefully in our community. A lot of businesses in the immigrant community are on Lake Street, and he specifically was talking about that particular area. But he said, if you are going to protest, please do so peacefully. But
peacefully, at what point, how many more people are going to get shot in the face or wherever she got shot? Before the people are going to start bringing guns, and there's going to be a war against fucking ICE.
You could look at that video and say, well, there was this person in a vehicle.
Which, by the way, is exactly what Trump wants. Then he can justify bringing in the military. By the way,
blocking the road, and we don't know what was said or anything like that. So there are just a lot of things we don't know. But it's just it's something they've been trying to sort of get their arms around. And I know just from regular interviews with both the police chief in Minneapolis and St. Paul, it's a difficult position that they're in right now, and have been for several months when these ICE operations were first announced. Because as we've seen in Minneapolis, there have been really distinct hard lines drawn by people like Mayor Jacob Fry saying, this is an ICE-free zone. ICE, you are not welcome here. This should not and will not happen on our streets. In St. Paul, in interviewing the police chief there, he was really the first law enforcement officer that I had talked to who said, he was looking into an infrastructure, some sort of a basic communications infrastructure where ICE agents or the federal agents of some kind would have some communication ahead of time so that they could just be aware and sort of get their ducks in a row in case of something going sideways. So it's, there are people are in really tough positions right now trying to.
This is America. This is where we're at now. This is our country now. This is Trump. Thanks to Trump. Thanks to Stephen Miller. U.S. citizens are being shot. Yeah, Barbara Nichols, a 37-year-old shot in the face, died on the way to the hospital. Mad Max says they are untrained thugs cosplaying as federal agents. They have no discipline nor responsibility for their actions. I am surprised this sort of fucking shit hasn't happened before this. Well, like I said, there was a woman shot seven times. She survived. That was a few months ago. Balthanos, John, if they weren't wearing masks, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah. They feel like they're, like they're anonymous, or something. But there's still ways of finding out who that motherfucker was. Josh sees, can we watch car auctions instead? No. Answer is no. This is important shit. DPD says, interesting fact, a woman can be charged with a crime if she has a miscarriage, but the Nazi Gestapo can drag a pregnant woman through the streets, causing her to lose her child with no charges, no justice. Yeah, double standard after double standard after double standard, hypocrisy after hypocrisy, bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. It was such a bullshit country right now. This is such bullshit. And not that we haven't had bullshit in the past, but it's like bullshit on steroids, man. It's bullshit on steroids. Here, I'll move that over there. Mad Mac, I love the mayor's response telling ICE to get the fuck out of Minneapolis. Did he say that? Did we miss that? I saw the mayor standing there next to the police chief. And I thought he was going to come on next, but maybe he already spoke.
So the deputies have not.
See, here they are. They're throwing snowballs. This is probably footage from earlier, maybe. I don't know.
Having some protesters or bystanders, agitators throwing some snowballs at them. As we saw this earlier.
We did. Yep, we saw this exact thing earlier, and this was targeted toward ICE agents at that particular time. But now, as you mentioned, this is MPD.
This kind of shit's going to escalate, man. It's just going to escalate, And I understand the rage. I'm kind of raging right now. I understand. But we can't play into Trump's hand. He wants us to get violent. He wants us to retaliate with whatever with guns or whatever, and we just got to resist the urge, because I'm pissed off right now. I totally get being taking it to another level, but that's what Trump wants. That's what Stephen Miller wants. So then he can go, see, we got to bring in the National Guard, or we got to bring in the military. I'm going to bring in the Marines. Well, Thanos, I bet you current ICE agents would not pass a police academy. No, they wouldn't pass shit. They're just letting anybody in. They would have let me in, and I'm way past my prime. DPD says, hello, Deputy. Do wrong. They are not trained officers. They are uneducated racist fucks who are excited by violence and degrading of human beings. Yep. MJ Daniels here. MJ says, if I were Governor Walz, I would call out the National Guard, his legal right to do so, and force the feds from the state. This has gone too far. Yeah, actually use the National Guard, your state National Guard there to oppose these Trump goons. Chris Doug says, so I will be an alarmist and tell the chat that in the past 12 hours or more, massive military aircraft carrying equipment, weapons, and personnel have departed U.S. and UK bases toward the Middle East. Now what the hell's going on over there? MJ Daniel says, yes, it is a matter of time before Americans start using the Second Amendment, I guess, against this kind of thing. Something I'm sure DJT would love. Exactly. That's exactly what he wants. And we cannot do it. I like I said, man, I know it's so frustrating, but we've got to do this peacefully. We've got to stand up to him peacefully. Throwing a few snowballs, okay, I'll allow that. I'll allow the snowballs, but man, I'm telling you, we just cannot give into that urge, because that's exactly what they want, and they'll outnumber us. They'll outgun us probably. If he does call in the military and shit like that, and like DPD was saying the other day, like to DPD's point, you don't think the military will fire on its own citizens, and I kind of poo-pooed it, but I definitely think that there would be the potential for that, and there would be a certain number of soldiers that would, I think, but I just don't think it would be the entire military. Or at some point, I don't know. I think there's at some point people would see what they were doing. I would hope, and I don't know, man. See, this thing has got me so, frazzled. I mean, it's just unthinkable to think that our own president would even think about like sending in the Marines to our own cities. But he would, because he's a sadist. He's a sadist. He likes inflicting pain on others. He loves seeing others in pain. So if Trump sent in the Marines and they start wiping out a bunch of Americans in Minnesota or wherever, Chicago, LA, he would probably have the biggest boner that he's had in his life. That's how he gets off. Yeah, MJ Daniels says this is a full scale hair on fire moment. Better pay attention, America. Yeah. There's the neighborhood there in Minneapolis. See, they got a little bit of snow. Even from Minnesota, this is not very much snow, that I think, compared to most winters. Looks like they've got less than a foot of snow on the ground for January. See, this is global warming, man. By the way. So here's a bunch of people walking, kind of, I don't know if they're protesting, sort of an impromptu protest or what. Let's see.
Watching this video along with you as we're seeing this aerial view right now at 34th in Portland of people walking down this street, holding up signs. We also had some audio from the ground there as well, as people just kind of using their voices to voice their concerns at this point after we know a 37-year-old woman was killed by an agent this morning.
Yeah, most of this playing out live. Didn't obviously have the initial incident with the driver being shot, but afterward, just sort of watching everything play out for the last several hours and the escalation that happened in about the 11 o'clock hour. Some of the city leaders who did show up, and we saw video, or actually saw live shots of them talking with law enforcement.
This is crazy. This is just crazy what's going on. Yeah, I think this is a full scale hair on fire moment. MJ Daniel. Mad Max, somebody points a fucking poo-poo at me. I'm pew-pew. I am whilst I'm in my truck, I'm flooring the pedal of the metal. Yeah. Wow, Mad Max says that YouTube wouldn't allow me to write gun. GUN. Um, Josh Sees Wells recently had a presser about how he's not running for governor again and had some real fire against Trump. Yeah, I missed that one. Jane Daniel, probably a bunch of Gen Sixers and ICE. Oh yeah, it's all these new hires they've been doing for the last year. They're all Gen Sixers. They're all Proud Boys. They're all these white nationalists. You know, but you do see. I have seen quite a few, Hispanic-looking dudes in there, but there's fucked up people in all shades. But yeah, it's probably mainly the white nationalist. What's this guy got to say? Let's see.
Amy Simone.
Leon, sorry, and I'm sorry if I missed it. We're gathering a few things here. Did you say are police still there at all, or have all of them gone away? Because we were looking at an aerial shot and they were driving away. So I just was interested to know if they are still there from what you can see.
Sorry, Simone. Sorry, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. What did you ask me? I'm sorry.
It's okay. As we're trying to just gather a lot here, and as we're looking at this aerial shot here, we had seen a lot of the officers.
Okay, I wonder if I could get. I want to see the shoot. Not that I don't want to see the shooting, but I want to see what happened. If there's any more video. If anybody else has the video of it, here's the mayor.
To this incident, I mean, it's pretty clear that Minnesota officials are very hot about what happened, speaking in terms that some people might consider to be inflammatory toward ICE, but then other people might think are justified. Where do you come down?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I listened to the majority of that press conference. Here's what I'll say, that the mayor's comments were probably some of the most unintelligible, unhinged comments I think I've heard in quite some time.
This is Fox News.
Blame 100% based off of probably one video that he has seen on ICE agents, saying that they have inflamed the situation, that they are there to do all sorts of chaos in his city. He lays no blame at all the individuals that are impeding law enforcement. They are. So
this is Fox News. Fuck them. I'm not listening to this asshole. Let's see, what's this about?
And it's apropos because we were just talking about this with Heffelfinger, and it's now that there's videos going around showing you the incident. It's what does that say? What does use of force and the law, the ability for officers to protect themselves if they fear their life's in danger, or if they fear harm, or is it actually in danger? These are a lot of heavy questions that we visited a lot in the state, unfortunately, over the last decade because of cases similar to this. Right now, we have Ed Obayashi on the phone, who's a use of force expert that we've spoken to before. Ed, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Ed, can you give everybody your credentials real quick so that we know who we're speaking with and your background on this topic?
Yeah. So I am a deputy sheriff in California, but I also served as a special prosecutor in California also.
Have you had a chance to look at some of the videos that have been circulating on social media?
Yes, I have.
All right. Well, we'd love your opinion. What have you seen, and what do you make of it?
Well, at the outset,
this is it.
I have seen only what everybody else has seen at this point, and I make that as a point.
So she's blocking the road.
Additional information to go by.
She moves.
But based on what I see, obviously there's going to be an investigation. The investigation will be led by the U.S. government, I will have jurisdiction over this investigation and no one else. The state of Minnesota can certainly investigate, but the ultimate charging.
So there she is there in that car.
Federal government, not with Minnesota. Minnesota has no
Here's the ICE
over
agent.
issues such as these.
She's taking off. There he is right there. Wait, this guy, is it this guy? I'm trying to figure out who shot. She's already shot. She crashes into a telephone pole.
In terms of the actual incident itself, this is a fast evolving incident. Literally seconds. From the angle of the videos, we see that the firing agent is directly in front of the vehicle as it begins to move. It's a suddenly move. It's not just this.
Was he?
Deadly weapon.
Was he directly in front? Or was it someone I didn't see?
Did the officer?
I saw him on the side.
Reasonably believe that this vehicle constituted an immediate threat. Again,
Wish I'd show it again.
These situations are not uncommon. The officer, regardless of whether the drive the vehicle as it begins to of the videos,
I'm gonna. Okay, wait. So she takes off. There must be someone. He said that the guy's directly in front. I see someone here. I think we might see another person. So was the shooter might have been out of the shot here? Maybe. Let's see.
Jurisdiction.
Okay, so there's this one here. Was this the shooter? Okay, she's already passed him. She's already passed him. This guy's not in danger.
But
okay, so, but I think she just goes directly into the telephone pole. So I don't know. Was she already? Was she already shot at this point? Let's see. Because I see, this is just a bystander. This is ICE. This is ICE. I think this is just a lady that was taking videos or was there. Let's see.
Could be removed.
So, unless there's another agent somewhere down here, because it seems like she's already shot at this point. Because that's the car. She's about ready to hit the telephone pole. So the actual shooter, I don't know if it was this guy or if there was someone else over here.
In the federal court.
Because there she is crashing.
We'll assume
this person's running.
Jurisdiction. It's just routine.
So I think that was, I don't know if that's the person who shot, and I don't know if that's the same person we saw before. But I don't know. I'm not even sure who this is. Very casually walking over.
The actual incident.
Didn't look very afraid. This is the vehicle that the ICE pulled up in.
So this is a fast evolving incident.
So there she's already crashed. Here's this person here.
Literally seconds. From the angle of the videos, we see that the firing agent is directly in front of.
Did you guys see an agent directly in front? And we couldn't see it, but where is he getting that? If he's seeing the same video we're seeing, how is he saying that the video showing that there was a agent directly in front of the vehicle? We didn't get to see shit. I see a person off to the side. I don't see anyone directly in front.
The vehicle as it begins to move.
Fuck this guy.
Does it ultimately depend, Ed, on what shots are fired? I could be wrong, but that's what I saw in my couple of glances at the video. So if the officer is in fact...
So look, these are the two officers. They get out of this car. Is there another officer over here in front? Let's see.
Out of harm's way.
She's parked sort of diagonally.
Hey, even in 0.1 second out of harm's way.
Now she kind of backed up. Looks like she kind of reversed it a little bit.
Car is moving past you.
And then she's taken off. The other officer I think is right on the side of this vehicle. He probably shot her right there. She's probably about to get shot if she hasn't gotten shot. And she's gonna floor it like Mad Max said he would floor it. But the thing is, he shoots her already. It was probably simultaneously. She punches it, he shoots her, and she just goes straight into that telephone pole. But the guy's on the side of the car. He's not in front of the car. Like that other motherfucker's trying to say.
Officer, when the shot is...
This guy's standing there with his hand up his fucking ass. Here's the car, takes off. There's the car. Is this the shooter? Is this the other officer? And she's got off. She's probably already shot at this point. Did he put his gun away real quick? Or is it this guy? Okay, so here's another one. Now this might be the one they're talking about was in front. But I didn't see him get out of that car. Only 2 people got out of the car. So maybe this guy was already there. This might be the motherfucker that feels like his life was in danger, which it wasn't. All he had to do, she just took off. He's off to the side. He didn't look scared. Watch the way he walks. Look at that. Doesn't look like a scared person. Look at. I'm not even sure if this is the shooter or not.
His or her life was in danger.
But very, very slowly walking, very casual. You know, she's already crashing because she's already been shot. Okay, she's already shot at this point.
That qualified a correct use of force.
So I'm calling bullshit. I think this might be the shooter. I'm not sure. Doesn't look scared. But of course now, she's crashed. Of course, I don't know. It just seems weird.
Yes, I think I understand what you're asking. From my angle, it appears that the firing officer was just feet away, directly in the path of the vehicle as it suddenly.
How can you say that? You can't see it. From this video, there really isn't any definitive evidence of an officer being directly in the path of this vehicle. So how can he say that? We don't. This is a shitty video. Watch.
The shots were, from what I understand, fired through the windshield.
Through the windshield. Okay, so she's pointed this way. She backs up.
So it wasn't a sideways.
She backs up and she turns the car this way. She's backing up and turning the car this way, so she doesn't hit whoever's over there. That's why she angled it out, and then she was going to take off.
A shot like to.
But I'm just putting I'm being subjective here. This so-called expert is saying that you can see that he was in the way. You can't see shit. You can't see shit. You see this guy. The actual shooter must be over here somewhere. You can't see that. He's going off. Okay, he's heard I don't know if it's evidence, but he's heard that the shots were through the windshield. But you can't say that you can clearly see that the guy was in front of the vehicle. See now there's this guy here. I don't see anybody. Well, then there's another person pop up. Okay, so she backs out to take off. But okay, then there's this person. That's probably the shooter. He's got his arm out. See, he's got his arm out. That's probably he still had the gun in his hand. Let's see.
Again.
Yeah, okay. It looked like I might have seen a gun. Might have. Oh shit! What happened?
The windshield. So it wasn't a sideways shot like to the driver's side window.
Okay, so this I think is the guy who shot her. Now you can see his hand is out. He's putting I think that's a gun right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you probably can't see it because it's so far away. But it looks like he's got a gun right here. And he's putting it away. That's the gun. This is the shooter right here. This I feared for my life is bullshit. That's an excuse. That's an age-old excuse the cops use to shoot people. She obviously backed out, angled out, and was going to take off. All you do, you just move out. Move out of the way. You know, he was already out of the way. It's bullshit. That's his excuse to get away with murder. So this guy, I'm pretty sure that was a gun that he just put away.
Of the videos that I saw, it does appear that the firing
She's wrecked.
was in the direct path of the vehicle before.
What videos did you see that we're not seeing? Because I don't. You don't even see the guy. So how can you say the videos that you saw, the officer was in the direct path of the vehicle when you can't even see the motherfucker? You can't see him.
Before the vehicle started moving towards the right.
The officer may have been hit as well by the vehicle, actually. The officer may have actually been struck.
Fuck you.
Yes, exactly. But we can't tell from any of the videos that I reviewed.
Okay, so he back up.
Again, the evidence will be analyzed to see if it coincides or supports the officer's point of view. It's not uncommon where an officer will relay and explain why his or her use of force.
Yeah, he's gonna say he feared for his life. Fuck him. Fucking pussy. They're just trigger happy fucking pussies. That's all they are. They just want they can't wait to draw their gun and shoot somebody. Fuck you. Fuck these assholes, man. All right, what's going on in the chat when I had my back turned here? What's going on with you guys? MJ Daniel, these fuckers are insane and capable of anything. DPD says, thank you, TJ. We need to start to think like them without losing our compassion and empathy. MJ Daniel says, don't forget TJT has had his panties in a bunch about Iran. Probably more Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon thing going, and they have lots of oil too. So much for being the peace president. The peace president, right? We're going to have fucking wars all over the place. We're going to have wars in South America and in the Middle East and in Greenland. Just craziness, man. Peace president. Here's your peace prize, man. Fucking, here's your peace prize. Mad Mac, attaboy TJ, I was concerned when you were on the Fox feed. Well, I was just trying to find anything. I think this is a Fox. This might be Fox also, but I was just trying to find something that was playing the video because I hadn't really seen it, enough or whatever. So, DPD, I would encourage you guys to go back and view the tape of the orange pedophile who had specifically chosen military servicemen who voted for him, cheering when he disrespected Biden and Obama. Luck Dragon says 85% of the refugees in Venezuela want to go back to their country without ICE being involved. Machado has the support. Mad Mac, we got to find a way to stop this insanity. We are being forced to endure. Stop them now before everything turns to shit. Blood Dragon says every single Venezuelan who lives in America legally wants to go back home to a democratic country because they are sick and tired of being treated like. Okay, yeah, you don't even need to go there. Robert Nicholas says no, he was on the side. She swerved away from him. Yeah. And more, there goes our economy, our security, forget FIFA and the 28 Summer Olympics. Josh sees, he says she was trying to leave. No, the cards I see a cover up. Well, yeah. Robert Nicholas, it looks like there's a third. Well, yeah, we discovered the third. That was the one I think who was the shooter. Alvin Stubbs here. Alvin says Trump will give the ICE officer a medal. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised. John Gladys, then she was shot through the windshield. That's according to that dude on the on their. DPD says there was no threat to their lives. This is bullshit, and it's even more fucked up that they have the full support of the U.S. government. Miller and Nome are polishing off their knobs. John Glad, the shooter was run over. I didn't see anyone get run over. Yeah, no one was run over. Barbara Nicholas says, look how Popos went after the lady with the kettle of hot water. I didn't see that. Bad Mac, he didn't have to jump out of the way. He stood still. Jorgen Johansson, don't forget when he dropped poops on you on No King's Day. He really loves you. Hey, Jorgen Johansson, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming in. Mr. Spock is here. Live long and prosper, Mr. Spock. I do appreciate you. If the Daniels, they will use the standard. Their lives were in danger. Yeah, that's exactly. They already are using that. Oh, so here's Mark Kelly. What the? So yeah, there's that. There's that going on. Here's more on the shooting. This is really low volume.
Our Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is working in conjunction with the FBI to investigate this morning's shooting.
There's walls.
As you know, we don't comment on active investigations, but also keep in mind that this is an investigation that's also in its infancy. So any speculation about what had happened would be just that. And we will not engage in speculation. With that, I will turn it back over to the governor. Thank you.
We'd be glad to take any questions. Yeah, and I could let General Schaefer talk about this. It so happens it's a training weekend. We've got about 7,500 troops in training at our sites, training sites across the state. What it isn't in the National Guard, you give a warning order, which is a heads up of something could be coming. That just allows people to think about what they would need, what it would mean to mobilize, what it would mean to put them in. And I could let the general talk a little bit about this. Obviously, since the summer of 2020, we had a lot of work done on teams ensure that civil unrest. And what that means, and I think Commissioner Jacobson was very clear, and I want Minnesotans to hear this from me. The desire to get out and protest and to speak up to this administration of how wrong this is, that is a patriotic duty at this point in time, but it needs to be done safely. And I think the commissioner simply just laid out some of those parameters. We can do that. This is the peaceful resistance that we need. Simon, you want to say a few things about what that means to have them on the ready?
So in the military, Minnesota National Guard is comprised of 13,000 soldiers and airmen who live all across and work throughout Minnesota. A warning order is just an initial step to increase your preparations. Minnesota Guard is always.
All right, so that's that. They're getting the guard ready. Someone said they should bring the guard in. I guess they got him on a warning notice. Let's see. Chris Doug says Trump is a morbid narcissist. He wanted to be a mob boss that can murder his business rivals, political opponents, and Democrats for a long time. He is now fulfilling his bloodlust. Jürgen Hansen says, TJ, don't misunderstand me. I'm on your side. I'm just pissed on Dunbo and how you could let this happen. I'm pissed too. I'm pissed also. I'm pissed off at many of my fellow Americans, about, 77 million of them that voted for that motherfucker. MJ Daniel says, well, while we have DJT, Miller, Whiskey Pete, all cosplaying military like a bunch of sick children going out for Halloween. Barbara Nicholas, National Guard to protect us from ICE. Yeah. So that's what's going on in Minnesota. It's scary to think if this is going to ratchet up, if this is going to get worse. People are saying it's going to get worse. How many more people are going to die? You know. Belfast Bob says YouTube changed algorithm to please dump certain words. Even here in BBC, told not to say any broadcast that dump and company kidnapped Maduro and his wife. MJ Daniel, also a bunch that voted for Obama and Biden, but not for the very qualified woman. I still think both sides are the same. I don't think both sides are the same. There's so much questions about the election, though, right? With Elon Musk and Starlink, all these swing states where Kamala Harris was leading and then all of a sudden was losing. You know, there's lots of questions that need to be answered. Look, Dragon, Bernie Sanders will still be alive in 2032, and that is why you need to vote for him in 2028. He's not running. He's not going to run. Not going to write in his name would be a waste of your time. That's the only way you could vote for him is if you write him in. I'm not even sure if you could write in people anymore. Stop with the Bernie Sanders thing. And I know you think you're a comedian and you're going to say you were joking, but let's concentrate. We're way off from the fucking 2028 election. Let's concentrate on 2026. Let's concentrate on the here and the now. And things that we can do now. Like call or write postcards to our representatives and tell them how fucked up you think this is. All the things that Trump is doing is fucked up and it's unacceptable. Let them know. Get involved in No Kings protests, peaceful protesting. Get involved with your local Democratic associations, whatever they are in your town, your Democratic, your Democratic Party associations. Get involved with that. That's what we need to do. Get ready to vote in November. AJ Daniel, just like 2016, and all it took was a few thousand votes in key states to get the electoral college. Every vote counts. Yep. Luck Dragon, Sanders, Kelly, 2028. Age used to mean wisdom, not dementia. Okay, whatever. You can be whoever you for whoever you can back whoever you want. I'm just saying. I think it's we're way early on 2028. Anyhow. Jorgen Johansson says, Mad Matt, guess who we are going to meet in Oh, you guys are talking soccer. Okay, I'll skip that. Chris Doug, Mark Kelly is my first choice. Luck Dragon, Kelly Crockett, 2028. Chris Doug says, Sanders is not seeking nominations. Stop fooling y'all. DPD 54 or better yet, show up at their offices. Yeah, you can show up at their offices. If they dare to do a town hall, make sure you go to that. A lot of them are too chicken shit though to hold any town halls. I'm just hoping that we can hang on. Like I said at the very top of the show, we'll be celebrating the 250th year of this country, of the birth of this nation, when we declared our independence from England. And I was wondering if we'll even make it to July 4th. Will this republic still be a republic by July 4th? Let alone November midterm congressional election, let alone 2028 presidential election. Are we going to make it to July 4th? This is January, so what, are we about 6 months away? Are we going to last another 5 or 6 months even before it all goes to shit? I don't know. I asked Nola Carnes to give us the odds. What are the... I hope we make it. I hope we make it. Look, Dragon, you're entitled to. I have nothing against Mark Kelly. If Mark Kelly becomes the nominee, the Democratic nominee, I will gladly vote for him, and I think he would be vastly better certainly than any Republican. And I think he's when you think of the group of people that we're probably going to have running, I mean, I think it's all pretty even as far as their abilities and what they can do. Whether it's Newsom, Kelly, Pritzker, and then whatever names pop up, Buttigieg. I will gladly vote for whoever wins the nomination. But unfortunately, there are people that don't do that, as we saw with, Kamala Harris. She didn't really win the nomination, did she? She was on the same ticket as Joe Biden. So I mean, I guess from that standpoint, Biden had to step down for health reasons, so she took the nomination. She picked up the mantle. I gladly voted for her. Happily, gladly voted for her. But it's hard to believe that there are Democrats that wouldn't vote for a woman. I can completely understand why Republicans wouldn't. I don't understand why Democrats wouldn't vote for a woman. I don't get it. I thought we were supposed to be the party of equality and of equal rights and of women's rights and everything else like that. I thought that's what was one of the main planks of our platform. And so I don't know. I just don't get it. Chris Doug says I'm moving to Molokai. No ice in Hawaii. Not yet, anyhow. I refuse to call soccer by any other name than soccer. Okay? It's soccer. Especially on my home ground. Maybe if I was in some other country, maybe I would respect the customs of your land. But when I'm on U.S. turf, it's I'm going to just call it soccer. TPD says, I don't know, TJ, the first 7 days. Oh, here we got Matthew Stafford. Football player. MVP right there. This was earlier. Dang, man. Did he ever come on?
Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson, Colonel Schaefer from the Minnesota National Guard.
Terrible audio.
We'll go ahead and Minnesota State Patrol. This morning we learned that an ICE officer shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. The loved ones who had to learn about this. We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration
That's terrible audio. Look, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is here. Hey, Daniel Berry, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Says happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you as well. MJ Daniel says Harrison Walls ran a great campaign and there's no good reason to not vote for them. I think they did too. I know there have been like these autopsy things done and after action reports or whatever they call them. And yeah, you could always find mistakes for anything. And it's all, hindsight's 2020. There's a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas. But in real time, during real time, I thought they were doing great. I was completely on board with them, and I went to the rally here in Vegas, and it was electric. You could feel it. You could just feel it in the air. And there was just so much enthusiasm and joy. Remember joy? The word joy was bandied about, but there was so much enthusiasm, and you could just feel it. And I went to the Trump rally here in Vegas. That was just a month or two before that, and I didn't feel any of that. I mean, I know, granted, I'm not a maggot. I'm not a Trump supporter. But even there, other than there was a group of people that I ended up watching some of that rally with who were definitely maggots and hardcore, and they were just in rapt attention, just hanging on every word that he was saying. But prior to that, just walking around, it just seemed like people were there, even if people were wearing like Trump shirts and MAGA shirts and hats and stuff. It was just sort of like a day in the park, and they were just sort of checking it out, and it was just like checking out the merch, checking out the food trucks, you know. That I didn't feel any excitement. I didn't feel any electricity in the air. It just was like, let's just go to the park and check it out, you know, type of a thing. Other than, like I said, I did end up in this one group that were about ready to lynch me, I think. But then when I went to the Harris Walls campaign stop here in Vegas, filling up the Thomas and Mack Center, you know, 15,000 people, and it just was electric. People were like, you know, I don't know, getting misty-eyed, and myself included. I just felt like when I saw Kamala Harris take the stage, I almost started crying, because I was like, I am here, and I'm seeing the future president. I felt like I was laying eyes on the future president of the United States, and Kamala Harris. That's, you know, so again, I know I'm biased, you know, I'm completely biased, but I don't know. It just was complete opposite feelings going to both those rallies, and in real time, it felt like they were doing really well. Yeah, in hindsight, there are things that I'm sure, you know, and we've talked about it on previous live streams, that you know, maybe they should have answered differently, or had a different, you know, been more prepared for, you know, all the Gaza stuff. Maybe they didn't adequately address that, and that was a big part of losing, I think, Michigan or whatever, you know. But you know, I don't know how you could say that what did they do that was worse than what Trump was doing? Trump was giving head to the fucking microphone. Trump was meandering and talking about sharks and batteries, and just going on and on and on, and being just totally fucking nonsensical. So I don't know if having a good campaign matters when you have basically all of the right-wing media, like a blowtorch, like Fox News and all these places, just a total, you know, mouthpiece, or what, you know, promotion arm for Trump. And then the so-called mainstream media, or the legacy media, not really doing a good job either. And then all the other things, you know, the Russia influence and the outside influences, it didn't matter if you ran a good campaign or not. The Elon Musk part of it, you know, Trump was running a terrible campaign, and yet he still won, which is why people think it was fixed. How could he have won? How could he have won when he was just a terrible speaker? You know, the guy was falling asleep at the RNC. I mean, on and on and on and on. He could not. The two campaigns could not have been any more different. You know, you saw the DNC, the Democrat National Convention, was the most amazing political convention I've ever seen. It was so, everyone was so jazzed up and on fire and exuberant and happy and joyful. And then the RNC, it was a total snooze fest, and half the seats were empty. All the people they got like the fucking Hulk and all these assholes. that were just all these old has-beens, all these fucking, racist assholes. Trump's falling asleep. Kimberly Gargoyle is scratching her crotch. I mean, they could not have been more diametrically opposed, and yet he won. So I can't, when someone says that it was fixed, I can't really argue that it wasn't. All I ask for is that, I'd like some hardcore evidence and proof. And I know that you keep referring me, one of you keeps referring me to this one channel, and I've never checked it out. But if they have the proof, let them bring it out into besides their one little channel. But I can't argue against thinking it's rigged when someone ran such a horrible campaign and they still won against a very well run campaign. It sounded like Kamala Harris. Like I said, they made mistakes, and hindsight's 2020. But when you compare the two campaigns side by side, it's not even close of how much better and well run and efficient that the Harris campaign was. I mean, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close, man. Nova Karn says, I, for one, going to look at everyone running's backgrounds and Junda? I don't know what that is. By that, I am tired of these no good nothing candidates. Mad Max says, I was watching the murder earlier, and some people, MAGA idiots, were saying how good ICE is and FAFO to the murdered lady. I was fucking disgusted by these immoral, stupid piece of shit animals saying that shite. Shite. Chris Doug says Trump's campaign was so pathetic he had to fake an assassination attempt to get things motivated. Yeah. Belfast Bob says that he still thinks that the machines were meddled with. Again, I can totally see the argument. It makes sense. DPD says, I told my great nieces that Kamala Harris was going to be our president. It hurt me to my core when she lost. I felt as though I had betrayed my great nieces and impressionable minds. It was such a letdown. It really was, and I felt let down by my fellow Americans. Lug Dragon says, breaking news, Rob Reiner's kid had a GoPro while he was entering the room, and blank you if you ever watched that video. Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. James Jaramillo says, DPD, I absolutely agree. The year has started on a bad note for me. I'm staying optimistic just the same. Yeah, it's hard to believe, huh? We're only 7 days in? It seems like 5 years, I mean, we've already invaded Venezuela. And every day it's just another thing, another like what's next? You know, I'm afraid to ask. Yeah, Mad Max says his body language was what it was of defeat in the late stages of the campaign. If it wasn't for election day shenanigans that we won't go into now, Kamala had it in the bag. I refuse to believe otherwise. I hear you, Mad Mac. I totally hear you. But I just wish we had something concrete to point to, you know, other than just speculation. But I hear you. You know what they say? If it what is it? If it looks like shit and smells like shit, then it's shit or whatever. I mean, it doesn't logically add up. Like you said, Trump looked like a defeated man just prior to voting day. They looked like they were, you know, they had internal polling there, and they knew they saw what was going on. But I can't definitively say that, you know. Sandy Foltz is back. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Jürgen Johansson, Dumbo's campaign was good enough to fool stupid Americans. Apparently, fooled 77 million of them. Belfast Bob can't prove it, but I know MAGA's cheated. DPD says, and with that being said, TJ, they continue to dissect what Harris did wrong. It's baffling and pitiful that this country could choose a moron who simulates a BJ to a mic instead of an articulate woman. Well, I mean, I kind of, as far as like dissecting what she did wrong, I mean, I think that does serve a purpose maybe for future elections. I mean, I do think that the Democratic Party, the Democrats, I think Joe Biden didn't do us any favors by not talking about the negotiations that were going on. I mean, he did, but not enough about, with Gaza, Israel. They apparently, I mean, they were tirelessly working on it, but they didn't really. It just seemed like they weren't doing anything, and really addressing the issue, getting out in front of that, and they kind of, it's like they didn't really want to talk about it. They were hoping it would just go away, I think. And then Kamala Harris, she kind of did the same thing when she became the nominee. That, I think that was a mistake, and so maybe future candidates, in 2027, and I don't know, I think the Gaza thing is still going to be going on, and Israel, and they're still going to have Netanyahu really committing. I think this genocide. I think Democrats need to be prepared how they're going to answer that, how they're going to handle that, and it can't just be like brushing people off. They have to have a serious, thought out response to that issue and to the other issues that come up. But they can't hope to just sort of brush over it and it's going to go away. It's not. Miller Carr says the word judge just missed the G. Well, no, I think I don't know. Oh, and judge. Yeah, okay. Now I guess I should have figured that out. Robert Nicholas says MS Now is showing inside the car and a bloody airbag. Oh wow, MS Now. Wonder if I can get that. I don't know. We don't need just talking heads. I want video. There's the mayor. He's pissed. CNN en español. Yeah, people talking. National news.
We don't know what happened before this video.
It's a different angle. Okay. Goes up to the car. She backs up. Right there. Right there. That guy right there. So this is ICE. They pull up. There she is. I guess blocking the road. Can you guys see this okay? What if I can zoom in? Oh, shit. I can zoom in a little bit, maybe. Okay. These two get out. I think there might be another officer already. The shooter's already on the ground, I think. Up there, let's see. They approach the vehicle. His guy's all gung-ho. Gung-ho. She's got her window open. He approaches the vehicle. He reaches for the door. First thing he does is reach for the door, to open the door, to yank her out of the car. That's the first thing he's doing. Look, he went for the door handle. These are her backup lights. She had it in reverse. She's ready to get out of there. This guy's grabbing the door. Now, in front of the vehicle is another officer. Right there, behind him, I can see his head. Right behind this guy who's grabbing the door, this is the shooter. He's right behind. So he's at the kind of like the left front fender of this vehicle. He drew his weapon right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but he drew his weapon. He's already drawn his weapon. She can see the wheels a little bit turned. She's ready to go out. There's his weapon again. Shot fired right there. Okay, that was to the front windshield. He's off to the side. He's already backed up to the side. It looked like another shot. She's going off. She's already been shot. She's going to wreck. This is the shooter right here. So there he is, putting his gun away. Like, it's just another day. It's just another day. No big deal. This motherfucker just shot a woman in the face. She's wrecked. Those guys fucking got out of there. So here it is. This guy goes a beeline to the door, grabs the door. She's backing up. There's the shooter. Boom, boom. 2 shots. Looked like one was. It looked like one through the front windshield, and the other one might have been through the side. Either through the window or maybe hit the door. This is the guy right here. I'm just trying to see, like, at this point, he is right over on the other side. You can't see him. Let's see there he is. Now that's when he first comes into the shot. He is right in front of the left front fender. Okay, so now she's putting it into gear. Brake her back light, her backup lights are off. She's put it in the gear, and you saw the car start to go forward a little tiny bit. His arm is going for his gun right here. He's going for his gun. For me, my first reaction, if I was afraid that I was going to get hit by this car, my first thing would have been to back up over here just to back up a couple steps. That would have been that would have been me. But no. What does this motherfucker do? His first reaction is to draw his gun like he's fucking Wyatt Earp or something. He's fucking Matt Basterson or where the fuck his name is. Masterson, the Bastardson. That's him going for his gun right there. That was his first reaction, was pull his gun out and shoot. My first reaction would have been just back up a couple steps. There it is. That's the gun. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but that's the gun right there. You can see it. She's got the wheel turned to the right. Because she just wants to get out of there. She wants to leave. Shot fired. Shot fired. This guy's like, what the fuck, man? But, okay, so that first shot probably hit her right there. And then there was another shot as she was going. He's shooting into the side. That might have been 2 more shots. Let's see if we can get the shot. Let's listen for the shots. I think it was 3 shots. It was like boom, boom, boom. That's the fucker right there. She's already, for all intents and purposes, dead at this point, or gravely, injured. And then he just like moseys on down, puts his gun away. Just another day.
Protesters are gathering at the scene at this hour. DHS Secretary Christina.
Just another day as a ICE officer.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened? It was our
fuck you, you cunt.
Because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis, they were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over.
She did not attack. Bullshit.
That official line from federal authorities lie.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is
bullshit.
Let's go out to the scene now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Story. Whitney, what more are officials there saying?
Well, as you heard, it was a profanity-laced press conference from...
Profanity laced. He said one fucking cuss word. Fuck you, CNN. You're no better than Fox anymore. All right. Let's see here. Let me get back into the screen. I don't know. Anyhow, we're over 2 hours. We're already well over 2 hours. Thanks, guys, for being here. I guess we'll end the show. Here's the Soulcraft. Tried to hang out with old friend Manga. Wouldn't believe the bigotry, and they're proud. I can't even express the depth of it. Just all non-whites are bad. Mad Mac, it's cosplay. Yeah, she's a cunt. I'll say it. Cosplay, what a cunt. He was so scared. Why walk up on her vehicle without knowing if she had a weapon? Then on top of it, she was driving away. Thanks, Aaron. Put us the links to buy me coffee and PayPal. We also have super chats. It says we were 0 for 5 on the goal, but I know we had two super chats. Sandy and Nola Carnes, thank you so much. Let's see. Let me just check it out real quick. Yeah, Sandy Foltz, $1 super sticker. Nola Carnes, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks everyone for being here and hanging out, and we, and taking in some news as it's happening. Belfast Bob, why aren't folks hitting the streets? If that was here back in the day, they'd need to run and hide in their barracks. Terrence Bunt says, do they have a Christy Megan gnome dress attire catalog out? Yeah, what was she wearing? She had a little like safari hat on or whatever the fuck. All right, guys. Well, I think we need to protest, but we need to keep it peaceful because, oh shit. God damn it. Ah. That's quite the angle you guys got. That's what happens when I move this this thing that I have. When I move it around too much, then it just loses the tightness, and then it just fell over. But yeah, that was quite an angle you got there. You had an eye full there, didn't you? And I think that the lens might be. Let's see. Is the lens dirty? I don't know what's going on. All right, here we go. Let's get back to normal here. The normal shot. I think everything's a little blurry. It's a little dark in here because the sun's going down. Anyhow, guys, thanks for being here. Man, it's been a day, right? It's been a day. Poor lady got shot. And we've got a real fucking Nazi fucking government going on here, run by Stephen Miller, basically. And yeah, at least put my shorts on today. No shoes, though. No. But so crap, I fell over the table yesterday. It was like in slow motion. Add that to the blooper reel. DBD says, thanks, TJ. I need a scotch. Great show, everyone. Yeah, let's all, we might all go and self-medicate now. I don't know. But anyhow, it's been quite a day. Like we said, we're only 7 days in. And people are being shot in the streets. We're kidnapping leaders from a sovereign nation. Not going, we have a president that doesn't go to get any authorization. He's using, quite a stretch, using the old war on terror authorization and use of force, going back to the fucking 2003 Afghanistan. He's still using that. I think that doesn't that have a time limit? There's whatever. I mean, we pulled out of Afghanistan. Anyhow, we're 7 days in, and God help us. What's in store? What lies ahead for us? God help us, if there is a God. Please help us. I'll see you guys tomorrow, right here, Trucker John channel, 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be here. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. Oh shit! It did it again. Why does it do that? I've got this thing tight as it will go. It just gave up the ghost. I don't know. I'm afraid if I tighten it anymore, I'm going to break the nut. You know what I mean? I don't think I can tighten this thing anymore, and it fell over. It just, weird. It's really weird. All right, I better get out of here before the thing falls down again. Big Hook's here. Trump wants civil war. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Big Hook. But that's why I'm urging everyone to resist the urge to respond to these type of things, in any type of violent way. We need to keep it peaceful, because Trump wants violence. He wants an excuse, any excuse, to unleash the U.S. military on his own people. Josh sees the camera falling over, and TJ saying, oh shit, is a good analogy for the current times. Yeah, I'm going to have to make that into a little video or something. Yeah. But, all right, before the camera falls over again, maybe I'll just shut that off for right now. I don't like the glow that's coming out of it. But thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. And let's see. Anybody else got anything to say? Ah! It's falling again! I cannot... Well... I can't... I keep saying I can't tighten it anymore, but then I do tighten it more. But it... fucking thing is tight. And it just starts to fall over. I don't get it. Would you people, you can see what Trucker John's working here. For the love of God, let's get the numbers up so he can get I don't know, maybe get some donations in or something. Get some better equipment. This is a shit show. What kind of shit show is you running here, Trucker John? By the way, I'm not wearing shorts, so if the camera falls over, you're gonna see all my little niblets, all my little cookie crumbs, if you know what I mean. So, God forbid you really don't want to see that. So, hope and pray that the camera doesn't fall over again, because I don't. I'm free balling. I'm going commando right now. If you know what I mean. That's just because cookies don't wear underwear, right? You ever seen a cookie wearing underwear? Anyhow, so better just hope and pray the camera doesn't fall over when I'm in front of it. We'll get kicked off of YouTube real quick, probably. You know what I mean? All right. So yeah, but yeah, Trucker John needs your help desperately. His equipment is failing him. He needs the help. So if anything you can do, buy me a coffee. What was the other thing you got? What else you got there, Trucker John? PayPal, super chats. This equipment is shoddy at best. And you don't want to see Tough Cookie's cookie crumbs. My goodness gracious, what's going on here? I turned my back for 1 minute and it's like all hell's breaking loose. I was in the bathroom taking care of some business, and all of a sudden I hear Trucker John screaming, like, so I come running out, and I was like, because I thought we were being burglarized or something. I thought someone broke in, and all it was the camera fell over, and I was like, oh, well, that's normal. That's kind of par for the course, So I think we're all right. I think we're okay. We'll just have to learn. Trucker John, you just got to learn how to tighten that thing down or something. I don't know. Tighten it down. Tighten your shit down, Trucker John. Excuse my French. You gotta tighten your shit down. Anyhow, guys, everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, think about those who haven't subscribed, please do so. And for all the subscribers, we always thank you for that. All right, guys. I just want to say hi real quick and make sure everything is okay. I heard screaming out here, but I think everything's okay for now. Okay. All right. Thank you for your concern, Paul, the purple beard guy. And Tough Cookie, for the love of God, go put on some freaking underwear and shorts or something. I've got a pair in the drawer there you can borrow. All right, guys, that's it for today. All that's left is the words of wisdom. So get your pad and pencil and pens and crayons, whatever it is. Get ready to write these down. Mad Mac, tighten your nuts. Yeah, for the love of God. Here we go. Guys, ready for today's words of wisdom? All right, so here we go. For today, guys, just remember, number one on the list.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. All screwed up, oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. good. I've got it all, sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.